Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. As I put on my screen, I value you and your time like I value my green juice and MacBook Air. And if you know me at all, you know that those are prized possessions, both of them. Thank you truly so much for taking time out of your day to join me. My plan is that you walk away with some gold tonight. I created a class on energy simply because of earlier experiences I had in life and the clients that I work with. The issue of energy is always coming up. So we're going to look at some variables, let me go back and say, when you leave this class, you will know two easy peasy common sense tips that everybody just seems to overlook. And you'll also know some two old school practices that will absolutely increase your energy. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, and then we'll spend a little bit of time on the nuts and bolts of the program and where you can go from here. And I will allow a little bit of time for a Q&A at the end. All righty? Awesome. Okay. So we'll start with, I believe that we were all born to win, but to be a winner, we must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. A little bit about me. I created this. This is what I call a Yellow Pages ad. Carol's outbursts. She demands, she dictates, she dances. She spits order after hard order, rule after rule, and blasts music. Carol Egan is on a mission. I certainly am on a mission to reinvent the notion of healthy living, to make each day count for everyone, to crush the notion that self-discipline is limiting, to crush the notion that you have to sacrifice fun to live healthfully. Former clients and current clients call me their best friend and their worst enemy because I hold a high bar. In any case, she is out to rattle your cage. I am out to rattle your cage to produce results that you want and have fun, lots of fun, always lots of fun. Get ready for massive change on a very cellular level. A little bit about me. So up here in the top, I'm a big, Anthony Robbins is one of my big lifetime teachers. Marianne Williamson below him, author of A Return to Love. Live, Love, Teach. I did a yoga teacher training last year. Extraordinary experience. Really synthesized a lot of the kinds of themes that I studied in the success and personal development world and in the world of, I'm going to say, universal spirituality. Yes, I've walked on fire 4 times. That's down in the far corner. I graduated from Mount Holyoke College with a bachelor's in liberal arts. I didn't have enough little squares up here, but I also earned my master's in education from Boston College. I studied with Landmark Education and actually participated in a leadership training team and trained hundreds of participants into producing results. That is my handsome son down below. That is me with my famed daily green juice. And then in the far lowest corner is, I did some organic farming one year, and it was a blast. I really wanted to just get inside the experience of being, as Joni Mitchell says, back to the garden. So I told you a little bit about who I am. So why do I do what I do? I did experience fatigue and exhaustion, chronic urinary tract infections, chronic yeast infections, irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, acne, anxiety. What is not here is vertigo, a very acute form of vertigo called labyrinthitis, a very violent motion sickness, no concentration and no memory level. Let me tell you a quick little story about that. I took one college class at a local university here in Connecticut. I took the one class, I studied with 3 different study groups, 3 different study partners, and met with the professor every time, every moment that she was willing to meet with me. Come the end of the semester, she called me to her office and showed me my marks and said, I'm going to give you a C- because I know how hard you worked. But this is what you produced. And that was an F. And all I did was study for that one class. And she knows that the level of work that I did was commensurate to at least 5 A's. Juxtapose that to graduating from Mount Holyoke cum laude with honors, Boston College magna cum laude with honors. And what was the decided variable? I changed my diet. My whole life changed when I started to change my diet. And may I say that there was not one doctor or one healer or one nutritionist, one specialist who ever guided me in the ways that I guide my clients. Food is paramount. Of course, all of these, my life being preoccupied, of course that resulted in low self-esteem and no confidence. And I playfully can look back and say, hot mess. Absolutely. It was not a fun time in life, but I literally transformed that. I don't even want to say 360 because that means I would be coming right back, but polar opposite, 180 degrees. So that's what brings me to this conversation. I was tracking. I was a high school teacher. I could have stayed, earning a particular income every year, summers off, the whole bit. And I left it because I knew I felt called to do something else. And I truly do believe that my calling is the work that we're going to touch upon tonight in this call. I know what it's like to transform a life. I went from the hot mess to magna cum laude from Boston College, being part of a leadership team to lead participants to giant-sized breakthrough results. That's an extraordinary transformation. And that all did emanate from the food that I ate. Okay. So, playfully, there's 3 truths and 1 lie. And you get to choose which one you think is the lie. I hitchhiked across country. My son thought I was a lesbian. I kissed Marvin Gaye. And I traveled through Italy alone. One little disclaimer there. I went to an all-women's college. I lived around lesbians, so I'm all cool with that. But I'm not a lesbian, and my son thought I was one simply because I was a young single mother and I was devoted to being just micro-focused on being mama. So there we are. Certainly later in the chat box, let me know which one you think is which one you think is the lie. Alrighty. So tonight we're going to talk about oxygen and the vital necessity of oxygen and breath work, hydration. We're going to talk about nutrition, stress, and the directed mind. Skyrocketing energy and your unique swagger equals everything is possible, and absolutely including and feeling 20 years younger. We are talking about energizing your life completely from the cellular level out, from the outside in, mind, body, spirit. Increasing your energy, smart project. Oxygen, numero uno. Hydration, second in line. Nutrition, essential. And the directed mind and stress reduction, paramount. Improper breathing is a common cause of ill health. If I had to limit my advice on healthier living to just 1 tip, it would be simply to learn how to breathe correctly. There is no single more powerful or more simple daily practice to further your health and well-being than breath work. Dr. Andrew Weil. Okay. First in line, oxygen. Breathe, baby, breathe. Okay. So let's talk about ATP. Let's face it, folks. If we don't breathe, brain cells literally begin to die. And within 1 minute, oxygen is our life force. We know that. We die when without breath. But how important do we place that in our everyday consciousness? It is our primary force of nutrition. And when it comes to energy, oxygen is responsible for producing ATP in our cells. And without ATP, our bodies would immediately shut down. Yes, do think of ATP as a battery in your cells that gets its charge from oxygen, which then produces the vital energy your body needs to thrive. We breathe in oxygen, and then there's a protein that you might not even know it's a protein. It's called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, the protein in our blood, literally picks up that oxygen and delivers it to the trillions of cells throughout our body for every vital function. By taking in adequate amounts of oxygen through proper breathing and exercise, you supply your body with higher levels of oxygen, which equals higher levels of energy. I'm sure you can remember a time that you stopped going to the gym and your energy levels sunk, were way diminished. Or you were really nervous and upset about something in your life. Let's say something at your job and your energy levels just went down. You were likely not breathing deeply enough when sitting on the couch eating bonbons, and when you were stressed, you were taking more shallow breaths. So you were not taking oxygen into your lower lungs, upper abdomen region, which is where our deeper breaths need to emanate from. Seems so simplistic. Seems not such a great big deal until you understand, really understand, that disease cannot live in a highly oxygenated environment. And of course, this emanates from a whole host of factors, but oxygen is a primary factor. And please do know, I'm not talking about, you hear about oxygen machines out there. You can go to a spa and take in oxygen. No, I am talking about the type of oxygen that we take in from pure, clean, healthy living, getting outside and going for fresh air walks. ATP equals energy equals, think of that ATP as a battery in your cells that gets charged by oxygen, which then produces that vital energy your body needs. Oxygen equals energy. When we breathe, we literally take in the oxygen from the air. The hemoglobin takes that and brings it throughout, releasing ATP. When I was sick earlier, they studied, remember in science, the Krebs cycle? The Krebs cycle, I was not converting energy. It was no wonder that I was a hot mess. Right at a cellular level, everything starts to break down. Now you can see why exercise is even emphasized as essential. Do you know that aerobic activity is considered health? Food is considered nutrition to add to our health, but it's the aerobic activity because we're bringing in oxygen, which is paramount. Breathing provides 90% of our energy. Research is abounding, folks, on the matter of cancer. Maybe not, certainly, yes, it's starting to become more mainstream. But disease thrives in a body with no oxygen. Science has proven that cancer will not survive in a highly oxygenated environment. But of course, the topic of cancer is for another whole webinar. That's just another whole entity. And of course, cancer has other contributing factors, which we will touch on some tonight. But do feel free to ask me questions at any point, best at the end so that we can expedite, my delivery for you. But in short, know this. In 1931, there was a doctor named Dr. Otto Warburg. He won his first Nobel Prize for proving that cancer is caused by a lack of oxygen respiration in cells. 1931, folks. He reported that whenever any cell is denied 60% of its oxygen requirements, it cannot survive. A nice little factoid for lots of people these days who are micro-focused on weight, that we live in the kind of an age of diet city where everyone wants to lose weight. Oxygen does burn fat and calories. And how about rebounding, folks? Have you heard about rebounding? It's a little mini trampoline. They're fantastic. And rebounding actually increases oxygen and moves lymph. Lymph is another body fluid that we have more lymph in our body than we actually have blood plasma. And lymph does not move unless we move. And rebounding actually, because of that gravitational pull, actually moves the lymph. So it's a very healing. In the world of natural health, rebounding is the best exercise. It is a true cellular exercise that delivers more energy into your body and is considered by NASA as more effective than running on a treadmill. Rebounding increases oxygen uptake with less stress on the heart. And, excuse me, I mentioned the lymph. So how did NASA get involved in rebounding? So astronauts would land on the moon. They would go into space, and they would actually lose bone density and muscle mass because of that zero gravity. And NASA found that there is more rebuilding of total body structure from rebounding. So highly recommend that you consider implementing in rebounding. You can go and add a quick note. Bellicon, Bellicon, Bellicon rebounders are considered the Cadillac. They're like heaven. There's no noise. The spring is beautiful. And then you can get something, if you're not sure that you would stay with it, you can go to a Sports Authority and get something for like $40. So it's certainly a very accessible tool to have at home. Tony Robbins found that just 15 minutes of deep breathing would give us all the energy we need for the day. The higher your energy, the more efficient your body. The more efficient your body, the better you feel, and the more you will use your talent to produce outstanding results. So I actually outlined a breathing exercise for you. Breathing exercise I would recommend twice a day. The way I'm going to describe it now is place one hand on your chest and the other on your abdomen. When you take a deep breath in, the hand on your abdomen should rise higher than the one on your chest. This ensures that the diaphragm is pulling air into the bases of your lungs. After exhaling through the mouth, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, imagining that you are sucking in all the air in the room, and hold it for a count of 7. Begin with a count that you're comfortable with if 7 is too much, and then increase with duration and with time. Slowly exhale through your mouth for a count of 8. Release all the air slowly and gently. Contract your abdominal muscles to completely release all the air from your lungs. Do note, though, that you will deepen and lengthen your breaths by inhaling more, but by exhaling completely. That's where you will start strengthening your breath, is in the exhalation. Repeat the cycle 4 more times for a total of 5 deep breaths, and try to breathe at a rate of 1 breath every 10 seconds, or 6 breaths per minute. At this rate, your heart rate variability increases, which has a positive effect on your cardiac health as well. Once you feel comfortable with this breathing technique, you may want to incorporate words that to enhance your experience with the exercise. For example, you could say relaxation on the in-breath, and stress or anger with the out breath, that you're releasing stress, that you're releasing anger. And of course, we'll touch on this later in this conversation. Do note your goal is to increase your out breath twofold to your in breath. Use your hands on your chest only to train your breathing properly. Once you feel comfortable, you don't have to stay with that. It's just, I like to offer up using your hands just so that you can really focus on breathing more deeply into your body. Abdominal breathing is also known as diaphragmatic breathing. The diaphragm is the large muscle located between your chest and your abdomen. When it contracts, it is forced downward, causing the abdomen to expand. This causes a pressure within the chest, forcing the air into the lungs. What will this overall mean to you? It will certainly increase your energy, your stamina, because you're increasing blood to your lungs, increasing oxygen into your blood and blood into your lungs. You're increasing the flow of lymph, which is rich in immune cells. We know about the lymphatic system, and certainly when people talk about lymph nodes and cancer, we want to make sure that it's not in the lymph nodes, right? The lymph is very important, rebounding. Keep your eye on that. By expanding the lungs and improving the flow of blood and lymph, abdominal breathing also helps prevent infection of the lung and other tissues. Do take note if you have any questions from that section. We are going to move on to the next now. You're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medication. I like to call him Dr. Batman, Batman Hilajid. He wrote a book called The Body's Many Cries for Water. He was a doctor that was imprisoned in Iran when the Shah took over. And he was going to be put to death. But when they found out that he was a doctor, they let him stay alive, and they asked him to heal patients. Well, he didn't have anything to heal patients with except water. And he was discovering that he was actually healing people, which was extraordinary for him. So when he did escape and come to the United States, he devoted the rest of his life to studying the impact of water on the quality of health. Okay, so water is the elixir of life, as much as I might like to say green juice, right? Hydrating is an oh so common oversight by so many people. I talk to people on a regular basis, and a lot of my friends who I know are flat out undeniably committed to healthy eating and healthy lifestyle habits. And yet they too admit that they are dropping the ball in taking proper amounts of water in every day. We can survive 4 to 6 weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Second on the nutrition scale to breath. Water is paramount to health. And Dr. Batman healed people of diseases with water. If you know that you're low on water, you're going to increase that starting tonight. Water is the primary component of all living matter. Think about it. It makes sense. Since your brain is 76% water, your lungs are 90% water, your blood is 84% water, and blood plasma is 98% water. Water is critical to every bodily function, like digestion, circulation, and elimination. I mean, years ago when I got sick, whoever told me water was so important? Nobody ever. Certainly we live in a world where some of us are starting to get this, but I don't know if you're in that conversation, if you realize how paramount water is. Water is responsible for carrying all vital substances through the body and helps maintain our body's temperature, and it serves as building material for growth and repair. Even in mainstream news publications, you can find resources that point to dehydration causing low energy levels, poor mental clarity, and even emotional imbalance. They're also finding certainly muscle cramping is dehydration, headaches, chronic headaches. If you get a bad headache, drink a lot of water. Look to dehydration as a reason. Digestive issues, certainly constipation, poor concentration, illness, hunger. Even higher levels of cortisol are released when we're dehydrated, which of course is going to increase stress. So imagine you pick a plum from a tree and you leave it sitting outside. The inside of that plum is going to begin to shrivel up, right? The skin is going to begin to start to wrinkle. Why? Because that plum has been cut off from the life force of oxygen and water. It's not connected to that life force any longer. So you can see people that are prematurely aging. There's so many things, folks, like alcohol, caffeine, sugar. They're dehydrating. Typical signs of dehydration. I went through those with you. I talked to you about Dr. Batman's book. Excuse me. So I do have here, we're going to, excuse me. So how do you become dehydrated? We certainly just by breathing, perspiring, urinating, elimination, in all the ways we depend on, in all the varying depending on your fitness routine where you live. For instance, I laugh and I like to make this point like grapes. People who grow grapes for fine wine. Geography has everything to do with it. Climate has everything to do with it. Soil has everything to do with it. Where you live is going to influence how much water you need to take in. If you're living in a dry climate, take that into consideration. To maintain healthy hydration and healthy energy levels, I recommend that you drink at least half your body weight in ounces of water every day, and that too will vary according to your physical activity and where you live. However, if you know you are dehydrated from traveling, because when we travel we get dehydrated, I recommend that you increase your water. I recommend that you sip water throughout the day. Drink water at least every 15 minutes so you maintain a healthy hydration and healthy energy levels. It's not good enough to drink a liter 3 times a day. You want to drink it throughout the day. If you drink a lot of water at one time, it will run right through you rather than saturate your tissues. If you know you are dehydrated, I always recommend sipping on warm water throughout the day. For 2 weeks, if you do that, you will increase your hydration exponentially. That is according to Ayurvedic medicine. Cold water can actually cause your body to contract, actually demand more energy from your body to process, and literally put out your digestive fire. Warm water is better. Room temperature water is better. A fully hydrated body produces colorless urine. Benefits of hydration. Adequate hydration ensures that the oxygen is carried throughout the body. It's also going to prevent water deficiency, can cause kidney stones. As I mentioned, the migraines, ulcers, and more. Fluids are needed. Another benefit, fluids are needed for nutrients to pass through the membranes of your intestines. If you're dehydrated, well, there's going to be a lot of other issues, but the water's going to help those nutrients to pass through. Proper hydration is going to help lubricate your joints, cleanse toxins. If you're dehydrated, you can actually get accumulated toxins in your body. Of course, hydration is going to plump up your cells, and that's going to mean plump up your skin. So you're going to get a youthful appearance. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to also act as an appetite suppressant. So you'll experience weight loss. I recommend that when you wake up in the morning, for a suggestion, that you start with 8 to 16 ounces of water. I always recommend lemon water. That's like detox in a glass. Lemon in water. That's going to turn on your liver. That's going to turn on your kidneys, and it's going to help flushing. And when you wake up in the morning, when we wake up in the morning, that is when we are most dehydrated. That is when we are most going to have more toxins in our body, because we've had 7 or 8 hours without taking anything in. So there can be an accumulation. The lemon water is a beautiful start to the day. Okay. So here we are. This is my recommendation. Wake up. So this is my timeline. It doesn't have to be yours, but you can do your version of it. Wake up and have your 8 to 16 ounces of lemon water. If you pour a glass of water the night before, you're going to have a nice glass of room temperature water ready for you. Squeeze in the juice of the lemon. I recommend that you fill in. I put my water bottle there on the end, so I showed you how I actually keep track. I actually track my hydration. I never have to worry because I have these timed intervals. I fill it at 7. I know that bottle's got to be finished by noon. I refill it at noon, and then I refill it at 3 p.m. I do have an additive that I add to it, and we can talk about that at the end if you're interested. Mineral deficiency is something that does continue to show up. So let's do the dehydration hand test. If you pinch the skin on your hand, the top of your hand, and it does not spring right back, you're dehydrated. And if it stays there for a moment, you're really dehydrated. This is a great little quick test that you can kind of track your hydration levels. Okay, hope you got something there. Certainly do hold your questions. I'm happy to answer them for you. Let's move forward. Medicine is not healthcare. Food is healthcare. Medicine is sick care. Yes, let's get this straight for a change. Nutrition has everything to do with our energy. I like to say to clients all the time, if you put oil in your gas tank or gas in your oil tank, do you think your car would break down? It is so funny how we care for our cars, for our vehicles, for our homes, our jobs, our families, even our attire, how we leave the house. We spend more time on these outward things than we do the fuel that we put in our bodies. As far as I know, we only have one shot at this game called life. And yet we play Russian roulette with our machine, with our body. And I'll assert from my own upbringing that it's just that we're not inside this conversation like, wow, right. That's right. Like my body was designed to run a particular way. And I'm not really caring for it that way. Live foods are life force energy. Live foods are literally the fuel we need for our body to run efficiently. Fresh, raw vegetables and fruits energize our body with live enzymes and minerals and amino acids, proteins, carbs and fats, and even hormones. Oxygen and enzymes cleanse and alkalize our body through the synergistic nutrition that they offer. So for breakfast, I say break your fast with green vegetables, green juices, and non-acid producing low sugared fruits. and something like even chia seed pudding. My first recommendation to every client I work with is juice, fresh green juice every morning. Juice is literally like an IV of all of these things that I just outlined: vitamins, minerals, enzymes, going straight into your blood. So let's say your digestive system is slow. Let's say you have some digestive problems or constipation or any of the ways that poor digestion manifests itself. Juice is going to help heal your body because it's not going to require any digestive fire. Juice is my first recommendation. If you have a pen and a piece of paper available, I will tell you what a really fantastic, excuse me, I need to drink a little water, excuse me. A really fantastic smoothie. Put in a cup and a half of almond milk. Put in a scoop of vegan protein powder. I need a little more water, pardon me. Cup and a half of almond milk. 2 to 3 cups of spinach. I put about 8 ounces of fresh or frozen strawberries. I'm getting a tickle, I beg your pardon. I put in a teaspoon of bee pollen, extraordinary for energy and hormone balance. Put in the vegan protein powder. Put in half of an avocado for healthy fat. So now you've got plant-based protein, plant-based fat. Those are the 2 ingredients you need to satiate your body. A lot of people say they could never stay with just juice. It won't hold them. That smoothie will hold you because of the plant-based protein and the plant-based fat. Greens. Do you know that the only difference between hemoglobin and chlorophyll is their center atom? Pardon me. Chlorophyll is where green plants get their color. The center atom of hemoglobin is iron, and the center atom of chlorophyll is magnesium. Many of the components which build and sustain the essential elements of your blood are also found high in green vegetables, and that is in the chlorophyll. Greens, and the coolest factoid about greens is there's a very similar process in the ways we as human beings and plants produce energy. Think about it. We breathe in oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. And plants breathe in carbon dioxide and breathe out oxygen. These are beautiful symmetries and similarities between the animal and plant kingdoms, and ones that we would be foolish to overlook. But I like to always turn to the structure of human blood and chlorophyll. You're going to get so much valuable nutrition. And depending on the state of your health, folks, truly, it's not unheard for me to have. I mean, I have greens every day, 3 times a day. A lot of the raw foodists recommend a pound of greens a day. You put a couple of cups of spinach in your juice, couple of cups in your smoothie, and then you have it in a big, massive salad. That is my recommendation there. 1 green juice every day. Ounces, I like to say anywhere between 8 ounces and 32 ounces. 1 big green smoothie and 1 monster-sized green salad. If that green salad is not as, I laugh and say, if that salad doesn't look like a salad you're going to put in front of a family, then it's not big enough. Load it up with sprouts. Sprouts are the most nutrient dense, one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. Sprouts, add those to your salad. And for a reboot, there's much talk about the benefits of fasting, like water fasts and juice fasts. But for many, fasting feels daunting and out of reach just yet. Okay, I get that. So what I like to recommend is 1 day a week. 1 day a week, take a juice fast, maybe every Saturday or every Sunday. Any day that it works for you. 1 day is not going to tax your body on an energetical level. And the truth of the matter is, a 5 or 7 day or 15-day juice fast, you're going to maybe experience fatigue at the beginning because you're actually detoxing and cleansing. But then you're going to feel a really ginormous boost of energy. But you're going to get huge benefits from a 1 day juice fast. Benefits like purifying the body of toxins, reducing inflammation. Inflammation is the primary quotient that is behind the troubles that everybody's experiencing today that is dealing with illness on some level. Inflammation is the key, and we will have a webinar at some point on inflammation. Juice fast is going to boost your immune system. It's going to slow the aging process. It's going to increase It's going to increase energy. Nutrient-devoid diets literally strip the electrical charge of your cells, which slows the flow of oxygen to your nervous system and reduces energy production. Nutrition is a vital component to your energy, and I hope that the metaphor that I used at the beginning about the ways that we fuel our car and care for our car will stay with you. So let's move forward. The nutrition for energy wrap-up. So I made a playful little gas tank there for you to trigger your memory again. Fill up on greens. Hydrate. Minimum of half your body weight in ounces of water every day. 8 to 16 ounces of lemon water to start every morning. 16 to 32 ounces of green juice plus 1 green smoothie every day and 1 monster salad. Do note, folks, alternate your greens. Don't eat kale every single day. Some people get in trouble, depending on the health of their body, they're going to get in trouble with oxalate issues. You want to alternate your greens and include some light greens like romaine. Alternate those with your spinach and with your kale and Swiss chard. Okay? Fantastic. Super. Let's keep going here. Food for thought. I love this. Live foods literally deliver the vital oxygen and vitamin mineral-rich water you need to skyrocket your energy. So if you eat a lot of live foods and start, my recommendation is create 70% of your diet to be live food. If you take in a green juice, a green smoothie, and a monster green salad, you're very close to on your way right there. You're going to be taking in more oxygen and more water. Beautiful. Last point. If you don't think your anxiety, depression, sadness, and stress, if you don't think your anxiety, depression, sadness, and stress impact your physical health, think again. All of these emotions trigger chemical reactions in your body, which can lead to inflammation and a weakened immune system. Learn how to cope, sweet friend. There will always be dark days. That's from Chris Carr. Kris Carr, if you don't know Kris Carr, let me go back so you can see her name. Kris Carr healed herself of cancer. She's 10 years out, or 10 or 11 years out now. She made a movie called Crazy Sexy Cancer, and she's written several books. Crazy Sexy Diet, Crazy Sexy Cookbook. If you don't know Kris Carr, find her. You will fall in love with her. She's just a beautiful light heart. Alrighty. Stress and the directed mind. The mind has tremendous power over your body. When you are stressed, your thoughts are stressed, your energy is low, and your mind spirals out, and it affects your overall health and sense of well-being. Chronic stress in your family, career, or relationships will directly impact your health and energy. For example, some people with chronic stress experience digestive symptoms, while others may get headaches, sleeplessness, depressed mood, or depression, anger, and irritability. Stress directly depresses your immune system, which of course directly impacts your energy level, which are both directly impacted by low-level eating, poor physiology, and poor mental focus. You who experience chronic stress are prone to more frequent and severe viral infections, like the flu or even common colds. Meditation is a powerful tool, and one that I personally say is flat out not negotiable, to quiet all the noise in our minds. Meditation draws us inward to tap that powerful place within us that we cannot find outside ourselves. We are not going to find that peace in another human being or in a job or in a relationship. We're only going to find the peace that we seek within, and we can't find that unless we silence all the noise. Meditation has been scientifically proven to improve creative thinking, energy, stress levels, and success. Meditation is also documented to improve a variety of psychological diagnoses, including anxiety and addiction and depression, even eating disorders and cognitive function. But what does it actually do to the body? The coolest thing that meditation does is it actually makes your brain plastic. Well, it's actually called neuroplasticity. Quite literally, sustained levels of meditation lead to neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to change, to structurally and functionally change on the basis of what we put into it. For much of the last century, I love this. Scientists believe that the brain essentially stopped changing after adulthood. You know how they study childhood development and when does the brain stop developing? They're actually saying with meditation, we can actually continue to develop our mind. Meditation increases gray matter. There was a study in 2005 in the United States with both men and women who meditated 40 times a day. The results showed that they had thicker gray matter. And that thicker gray matter is actually what stops the brain from aging at a much slower rate. Gray matter, the cortical thickness, is also associated with decision making, attention and memory levels, energy, calming your mind. So here, look at, we're going to continue here, but we have breathing. Very simple. Breathing and water, simple. But overlooked, old school is stress. 50 years ago, people that our ancestors, our grandparents, They didn't live in the world we live in now. They didn't live in this high stress world that we live in now. This is an old school practice. Reduce the stress. And nutrition, nobody lived on the diets that we were raised on, fast food nation. Okay, so thoughts do literally create our reality. And many books have been written about this, with the classic As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. If you believe your life to be really, really hard, those are the types of thoughts that will drive and fuel your days, and consequently impact your energy and your health. I mean, if you're thinking negative thoughts and you're stuck in a vortex of negativity, you know that your energy levels are going to be absolutely impacted by that. Conversely, if you believe life to be really, really good, those thoughts are also going to impact your energy level and who you spend time with. This is a very important piece here, is directed thoughts. Directed thoughts is us actually taking charge of our day and who we say we are going to be today. A very powerful exercise I do with my clients in my one-on-one coaching program, I'm going to share with you. So what I would like you to do is identify, and maybe not right now, but you could think of one. Think of 5, in your own time, but 5 disempowering thoughts that stop you, that slow you, that are running your life. Like, I'm not good enough. I could never do that. They're so much better than the way I do it. She's so much prettier than I am. He's so much more effective on the job than I am. And how does that limit you? So what I want you to do is take that thought and actually turn it around and say, I am the most effective person at my job. And see, then you start creating something new with your thoughts and with your words. For example, I'm exhausted. I never have enough time. I wake up every day and then you turn it around to, I wake up every day with the perfect amount of energy to accomplish everything I need and want to accomplish. I mean, you can imagine the ripple effect of that versus I'm exhausted and I never have enough time. Or I'm so lonely, I don't have someone special in my life to, I am so happy and productive while I'm alone. When my perfect partner arrives, he will be mesmerized by who I am and all that I do. I highly recommend that you take this exercise on for yourself at another time, really in-depthly. And then I'm going to give you another tip. You're going to take those empowering beliefs that you turned around from disempowering beliefs, and you're going to put them in your phone on a timer. And throughout the day, you're going to have going off what I call a mindfulness bell. And you're going to have a mindfulness bell that comes up and says something like, everybody wants me to succeed. I'm a master at healthy living. Or whatever you convert to an empowering message, plug it into your phone and have it ring up at different intervals throughout the day to remind you. And that's when you're going to start directing your thoughts. That's just one of the ways that I offer to my clients to really start focusing and directing their positive thinking. You can maybe say, but it's not true. He is so much better. In AA, they have a saying, fake it till you can make it. Create an empowering belief and own it and believe it. And I promise you, it will come to be yours. Gratitude. Everything in life changes with gratitude. Everything that is limiting and falls short is all of a sudden going to become much more rich when you're grateful for it. one of the things that I recommend to all my clients is put your hand on your heart when you first wake up, those moments between consciousness and unconsciousness, and create gratefulness for just even the beating of your heart, for the bird singing in the tree. Envision the last. Create a compelling future to step into. You know, that's a really empowering exercise, but this is so much more than goals. Do a free writing exercise of all the things that you've ever wanted to do and start creating a structure to create a vision that you're empowered by. Very briefly, the cycle of stress and low energy, disempowered living. You have a poor diet, you have dehydration, which leads to stress and a depressed immune system, which leads further to lower energy, which then complicates your whole thought processes. And then the loop continues. So we can start nailing that with the foundational things that I pointed out here this evening. Breath work, hydration, proper, healthy, healing nutrition, and stress management and directed thoughts. The cycle of energy and renewed health, the winning game. Daily self-care. Lose the nutrient-devoid diet. Build a strong immune system with vital nutrition. To increase your energy, which will directly impact every area of life, including positive thinking. Remember, dehydration is going to cause depression. Low oxygen is going to cause low oxygen is going to contribute to that as well. So now you're going to have a positive cycle of energy and positive thinking and healthy living. You're going to just be feeding it rather than looping around in the negative cycle. 4 steps, wrap up, deep breathing exercises, hydrate at least half your body weight in water every day, 70% live foods, and create and repeat empowering thoughts throughout your day. You rock. I hope you took away at least one golden nugget to further, to advance, to support you in creating more energy. And why more energy? Energy is only important so that we can then start really moving on and creating what we want to create for our lives. If you want to talk with me personally about your health and what you'd like to create for yourself, it's at my website, very accessible, a discovery call. Here's the link, calendly.com /Carol-Egan/30 minutes. I'd be happy to give you 45 or more, whatever we need. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking time. Again, I really do know how valuable your time is. I did put together, if anybody's interested, please post your questions. I do have what I call Best on the Planet boutique level supplement line at my store. I'm not tied to this being part of this conversation at all. I just wanted to make it available if you wanted to talk supplements. If not, please do post your questions. Have any questions? Please pop them in the chat box. I'd love to hear from you. I was a high school teacher. There's no such thing as a wrong question. Of course, my tickle in my throat is quiet now that you're quiet. No questions, folks? Well, I want to thank you for joining me. It was really an awesome hour to spend with you. Again, I hope you took something away of value for you. If you have any questions that you'd like to pose with me one-on-one, by all means, feel free to reach out to me through my website or at carol@carol-egan.com. Carol@carol-egan.com. I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to just answer any questions that you might have. I wish you the very best. Thank you so much for joining me. And please do note, I kept to the hour. We're finito.